Welcome back. Mrs. Tolman here. We are now working on Lesson 5, Unit 1, working on identifying genres of literature. So, when you're reading different types of literature, there are many different types. We're going to talk about fiction. That's writing that tells an imaginative stories, meaning they're not real. A genre is a type of writing that has certain characteristics. Nonfiction is writing that tells about real people, places, events, things, and ideas. So, genres of literature. It's Friday night and you have no plans. Your parents offer to take you to a friend to see a movie. And what type of movie do you want to see? Do you want to see a scary movie, an action adventure movie, science fiction movie, or an animated movie, or maybe just a funny movie? These are all different types or categories of movies, books, and stories. They're called genres. A genre is a type of writing that has certain characteristics. For example, the genre of mystery focuses on finding out who committed a crime and how it happened. The genre of realistic fiction includes made up stories about events that could happen in real life. There are many different types of fiction stories. Knowing the genre helps a person to know what to expect from the story in that genre. Literature can be divided into four major categories: fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and drama. Fiction includes made up stories, while nonfiction texts tell about real life events and people, ideas, places, and things. Within these types of writing, there are many different genres. All right, so this says a good story. Fiction genres. Fiction is writing that tells an imaginative stories. Fiction stories focus on plot, the events that occur in a story. Remember, we have the resolution, we have rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. All right. So fiction is writing tells imaginative stories. Fiction stories focus on the plot, the events that occur in that story, and the characters, the people, or the animals of the story. So we're going to study the following list of the most popular fiction genres. It is in your best interest to write these down on a separate sheet of paper beside you. So take some good notes. This will help you remember what we're looking for. Realistic fiction is stories that contain realistic characters, events, things that can happen in real life. Science fiction, stories about technology, science, they often take place in the future. Historical fiction is imaginary stories that tell about historical characters or event. An adventure is a story that contains an exciting and dangerous events. A mystery is a story that tells about a crime and how it's solved. A fable is a short story that teaches truth or a moral, usually involves animal characters acting as humans. Fantasy is a story that contains magical or supernatural events and characters. A fairy tale is a story that begins with once upon a time, includes magic and good and evil characters. A folktale is a cultural story passed down through time by word of mouth. A legend is an ancient story that has been in fact but included in imaginative details. Mythology is stories about gods and goddesses, often used and explained historical events. Think about a story in this unit, The Lion and the Mouse, Shipwrecked, and Mowgli's Brothers. Which genre would each story fall into? The Lion and the Mouse includes talking animals, and it demonstrates a truth. Even a small creature can be tremendous with someone else's help, right? This story fits in the genre of the story Shipwrecked. The Lion and the Mouse fits in the genre of a fable. The story Shipwrecked tells about a family caught in a tempest while at sea. It's an adventure story because it contains exciting events in which the characters must show bravery. Mowgli's Brothers is part of the novel of The Jungle Book, which was written for children. This book is a fantasy because it contains imaginative creatures and other elements that are not part of reality. The story also contains exciting events, so it's also an adventure story. Nonfiction genres. Nonfiction writing tells true facts about real people, places, events, things, and ideas. There are several different types of nonfiction genres, including the literary nonfiction, informational text, and persuasive text. Literary nonfiction tells the truth, but while it's written in a fictional story, includes genres of biography and autobiography. A biography is a true story about a person written by someone else. An autobiography is a true story that a person writes about her own life, or his. Informational texts are essays, reports, news articles, or textbooks that give facts and details about a topic, meant to inform the audience about a topic. Persuasive text tries to change the audience's mind about the topic, uses the facts and our author's ideas to convince the audience to do something. So if you've taken notes, great. If you don't, pause this video, go back and take the notes that you need, because here you will need to answer the following questions about what we just talked about. Moving down to the excerpt. This is an excerpt. Helen Keller tells about her memories following a mysterious childhood illness. The illness left her both blind, deaf, at only 19 months old. An excerpt is only a small piece of a book or an article or something like that. So an excerpt is just a small piece of it. So this is about Helen Keller. I cannot recall what happened during the first months of my illness. I only know that I sat in my mother's lap, clutching to her dress as she went about her household duties. My hands felt as though every object and observation, every motion in this way, I learned to know many things. Soon I felt the need of some communication with others and began making crude signs. A shake of my head meant no, and a nod meant yes, and a pull meant come, and a push meant go. Was it bread that I wanted? Then I would imitate the acts of cutting slices of butter with them. If I wanted my mother to make ice cream for dinner, I made a sign for working in the freezer, and I shivered, indicating cold. My mother, moreover, succeeded in making me understand a good deal. I always knew that when she wished me to bring her something, I would run upstairs or anywhere else she indicated. Indeed, I owe her loving wisdom all that was good and bright and long night. I do not remember when I first realized that I was different from other people, but I knew it before my teacher came to me. I noticed that my mother and my father friends did not sign as I did when they wanted something done, but talking with their mouths. I stood between two persons, were conversing and touching their lips. I could not understand and was very vexed. I was very frustrated. I moved my lips and gesticulated. I gestured frantically with the result. So this made me so angry at times that I kicked and screamed until I was just exhausted. I think I knew when I was naughty, for I knew that it hurt Ella, my nurse, to kick her. And when my fit of temper was over, I had a feeling, an aching to something like regret. But I can't remember any instant in which I was feeling prevented me from repeating the naughtiness when I failed to get what I wanted. Okay, this is a little advertisement. Automatic transmission closely monitors engine speed, engine load, vehicle speed, and other factors in order to determine when shifting gears. When conditions reach a particular point, the transmission automatically shifts up or down, creating a smooth and comfortable ride. Likewise, innovative makes projects run more smoothly. Develop the inability to recognize what needs to be done. Reach out to your siblings and friends and help them address their struggles. Do not put off to tomorrow what you can do today. Be committed to the goal, no matter who gets the credit. If someone is behind schedule, lend a hand as long as you don't neglect your responsibilities. Think through your project so that you can anticipate what you will need. Okay, so what is the difference between a biography and an autobiography? That's my first question. I know you're probably different, but remember, scroll back up to the top to find the answers if you don't remember. Okay. Many of these at the bottom are I before E. You're going to unscramble the spelling word and put it in correctly. All right. Wishing you well. Have a great day. Until next time, Mrs. Tolman.